All right. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 13th session for Holding Hands. Today is a special session because we're going to be talking about women's mental health. And I'm not sure if all of you know, but October is Mental Health Month. So it's all about um, learning about what mental health is, finding ways and strategies to manage your mental health, and as you probably all know, and you may not know, but women experience more forms of mental health, but I'll get Prathiti to talk more about it. So I want to welcome Prathiti. She's our guest speaker for today. She's a mental health educator. She has been working in the field for over 10 years. She has advocacy, humanitarian, and community experience. So I'll hand it over to you, and I'll make you the spotlight video host. There you go. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Sakhi Saheli, for the lovely opportunity. It's been a great pleasure to see this all Facebook post and everything. I not actively involved as such as a member, but that is really interesting that what Isha had put all together for everyone to help our community. And wherever we can chip as a community person, I always love to chip in because I think we get a lot from our community. We need to give it back at some stage, isn't it? um, so I won't waste too much time. Just talk briefly about me. As Isha mentioned, I am a mental health educator and a teacher in a TAFE colleges. So I teach diploma courses, including community services, mental health, drug and alcohol, peer support work. So there are lots of mental health and around community services courses I deliver here in Australia. So I teach across few RTOs and also work in our industry for a while. So work one-on-one, work with the group therapy in different area of mental health I have worked. In working with all these areas, one thing I have noticed is in our community especially, people are still not that open about mental health, and there is still a really, really big stigma around mental health. So this is something which I do a lot, especially the organization which is focused on different cultural background. So I speak to them, get involved with them, and actually work with them doing guest speaker, maybe volunteer work. Especially migrant and refugees is my focus area. So that those are the people who I do a lot of volunteer work to engage in, to basically aware people about mental health. Yeah, so I know I have prepared a little PowerPoint, but just bear with me. I'm not going to do death by PowerPoint, but it's just helped me to guide my conversation give a little bit of direction. Okay, once again, it's the Mental Health Awareness Month, so great time to pick up this topic to talk about, and I'm going to mainly focus on women. Why women? We all put up with so many things every single day. Okay, first of all, woman is still considered as a primary caregiver. Okay, when we talk about family structure, when we talk about society structure, woman is most of the culture, most of the community, they are still primary caregiver. We put our health at always at a backbench. We don't, oh, I worry about it when I have cooked for my family, when I feed my family, when I'm done with everything, then I'll worry about myself. This is still the attitude of women, okay? That's why we talk about today's topic. And I'm talking about physical health, okay? Mental health is still far, far, far behind. So what is mental health? When we talk about mental health, it's mainly about your emotional, your psychological, and your social well-being. Mental health actually affects how we think, how we feel, and then those feelings and those thinking actually comes out as reactions or comes out as our behavior or our action. So that is, in a simple layman language, is mental health. When I ask anyone, what do you think mental health means for you? Oh, stress. is mental health. Of course it is a mental health, but that's a very common term which people use to define how they feel. Okay, sometimes you feel sad, sometimes you feel lonely. That all is mental health as well. So it's just not your stress. Okay, it's just not about the thinking you worry about what I'm going to pack tomorrow morning for my son's tiffin box. You think, overthink, and worry about it. That is also affects your mental health. So simple thing like those things, your day-to-day task also affects your mental health. I am going to show you a little video which Beyond Blue prepare. Beyond Blue is an organization which does a lot of work in a mental health sector. It's a pretty much 3-minute video. So it's basically talks about how female just take it for granted. Okay, sorry, I think I didn't share my volume. Just bear with me. Yep, share. Here we go.
I had no idea what was going on. I was crying about things, I just couldn't cope, but I just really had no idea it was depression.
I didn't have the same passion for things I really used to enjoy. I didn't want to go out with friends, I didn't want to go anywhere.
Somebody actually noticing that I wasn't coping, I'd have panic attacks and thought I was having a heart attack.
I was feeling really sort of low, and
sometimes it's just hard to get out of bed.
Now looking back on those really early days was recognising the difference between being a functional person and not being a functional person. Logical approach that my doctor took was really reassuring. You're not unique, settle pedal, it's all right. We've got some plans here and we're going to keep doing it until we find something that works.
That constant reminder that you're not alone. Reading that other people had it didn't make me feel so alone as well.
What I was experiencing was a shared struggle with other people.
letting go and letting somebody know that I wasn't right.
Like a whole weight was lifted off my shoulders, that I wasn't the only one like this, and other people understood and felt the same things I do.
The journey isn't necessarily an easy one, but it's an important one. You can't just stay in that darkness all on your own. It's a horrible place to be.
Go to a doctor. Just tell them or tell somebody. It doesn't make you weak. You're no less of a person for doing it.
Talk to somebody, say to them that you do need help and you're not feeling quite right.
Realise that there are people that want to see you functioning well enough so that you can heal and so that you can find the joy in your life.
I think that she's worth it. I didn't think probably that I was worth it. Just be really honest with yourself and kind to yourself, because what you're going through is nothing to be ashamed of. You can get through it. We can all get through it if we're just courageous enough to stand up and ask for help.
Good sleep, taking care of my body, mindfulness, exercise. Yeah, I have an assistance dog, Salvador.
It's mainly connecting with people, talking to people. I go and see my doctor if I need to, making sure I've got my medication.
Use exercise a lot. I see psychologists and psychiatrists.
Talking to my friends, talking to my family, spending time with my boyfriend.
I do a lot of yoga and a lot of high-intensity fitness, and I love being outside.
I have my tribe of craft girls keep a good eye on me, and that's something I wouldn't have had either if I hadn't said anything. I'd still be by myself.
Okay. So let's back to I'm just going to share some stats. So if you watch the video and listen it carefully, it does clearly says that we all experience this. Okay, mental health is so common. We all go through it at some stage of our life. The only problem we as a woman is we do not acknowledge it. We just have, and especially in our culture, we have been taught to stay strong. Pull up your pants and do it. Okay, so that's just So when we talk about some statistic in Australia, especially, every 1 out of 6 women, some stage of their life, they do experience depression, anxiety. I'll go in a little bit brief about some of the terms which is commonly used in the mental health. But when we talk about women, anxiety is very common. That fear of doing something new sometime can be called anxiety. Depression is feeling low, not feeling what you normally feel all the time. 1 in 10 women is go through depression during their pregnancy. So that is another very common life cycle experience which most of the women experiences. Another thing which is called post-traumatic stress disorder. This is another name of a disorder which a lot of women experience. When we talk about mental health, how would you know that you are struggling? Okay, sometimes we don't reflect on ourselves, our behavior every day, because you just don't have time. I have so many things to do. I have to work, feed my family. But when you go to bed, take a 5 minutes of your time for yourself and reflect. How did my day went? Did I feel happy? Did I feel satisfied? And there is a whole list of symptoms and early warnings available when we talk about mental health. If your eating pattern change, if your sleeping pattern change, are you sleeping too long, too less, eating too much, too less? Feeling numb, like nothing matters. When you feel something, is your hands feel numb, if your feet goes cold, those are some of the things. And especially when you revisit those memory, are you having same feeling? Those are some of the symptoms of a mental health issues. Not, I wouldn't call them disorder because they're not diagnosed yet. We might have those phases here and there. Sometimes you're feeling helpless, hopeless. Sometimes if people smoke or drink, those consumption goes up than the normal regular consumptions. You feel rage, frustrated, angry, worried. Having those emotion one off, that's okay. That's normal for every human being. But having those emotions on every single day, and continuation, repetition, and not able to manage them, that is a symptom. Okay, so if I feel angry sometime, but I don't have any strategies to manage it, that is basically you need help with. Yeah. Why women have more prevalence in common those mental health issues? Women's life cycle, if we look for it, first of all, caring for others and supporting others. We as a woman, I don't know, it inbred in us, and we have been in the part of that place in the society that it's our responsibility to care for others, support others. Oh yeah, sure, I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. But hey, I don't want to cook today. That's okay to say. I need my time off. That's okay to say. Okay, you don't have no one. It's an equal share, equal fair label. That normally doesn't happen in this society, but if it happens, fantastic. Okay, so that's one first very important factor. Relationship breakdown. So if you go through any relationship breakdown, if you experience any um, relationship breakdown, divorce, or then you worry about your financial security, social connection, housing, where you're going to live, how I'm going to take care of my child. That can also lead to mental health issues. Okay, so if you are ever going through such issues, please go and ask for help. We are lucky to be in a country where we have so much of support in every area of those our life. When we go through any hardship, we can access support. Okay. The another thing is violence and abuse, especially when we talk about violence and abuse. I'm not going to go into much detail of it, but any sort of emotional, physical, or sexual abuses can affect our well-being as a woman and can affect our mental health. You might have thoughts of suicide because of it. You might have a post-traumatic stress disorder because of it. So those things can be prevalent in, especially when we talk about women's group. Discrimination based on a sexuality or gender identity. So you're a woman, you have to behave in a certain way. This is expected from you. That sort of behavior is discrimination. The another thing is transgender women. So sometime that concept is still evolving, LGBTIQ community. And if you are struggling to identify yourself as a woman, that can be also cause mental health issues, okay? So if you're not sure about your gender, you might be having some confusions. There is all sort of help available. And at the, I think last slide, I have put some helpline numbers for everyone. So that way you can take a photo of it. It will be really helpful. The other issue which women normally experience, which can affect mental health a lot, is definitely reproductive. So any infertility issues, any miscarriages, people take it so normally. I'll share a personal experience because this is a safe space here. I myself went through IVF, and I know how much stress, how much mental health issue it causes. Every time you go for treatment, you come with a negative answer. That cause itself, it's such a painful and a stressful experience if you don't access proper support system. That can be formal, informal, different type of supports available. So you can access any type of counseling or anything, go for it. Okay, don't feel hesitate. Another thing is pregnancy. It's a big thing. It's a big chunk to take on board, isn't it? It's a big responsibility, especially when you deliver a baby. Sometimes you go through that depression that you feel like that baby is your life. Nothing else exists in your life. So people, a lot of women feel lonely at that time, and that can cause postnatal depression as well. So be aware about those signs which I just disclosed before. And a bit later in the life of the woman, there is another thing which happens, which is called menopause. Okay, so that is again your hormonal changes that can lead to weight gain, that can lead to so many different other issues. You might feel a little bit dependent on people. That can again cause mental health issues. Okay, so when we talk about if you ever experience anything, who you go first? If you do not have, you don't feel comfortable to talking to your family members, your friends, go first to your GP. Okay, GP is your first point of contact. They can do diagnosis, they can give you medication, they can give you mental health plans, they can support you in all different ways. Okay, even if you're not comfortable, for example, even if you get diagnosed with something, and if you're not comfortable to talk to your family member, take your family member with you to your GP as well. They can explain what it is, how it works. It's not end of the world. Okay. The another thing is people think, oh, if I go to GP, I have to go to psychologist, psychiatrist. It's maybe very expensive. You don't have to. But even if you need to go and see someone for a counseling therapy or a psychologist or psychiatrist, there are under Medicaid card, we are in such a beautiful country. We get up to 10 sessions, which is free of cost. I worked with so many clients. I refer them to so many psychologists. We have a language specialist psychologist in this country as well. So I worked with so many Turkish-speaking clients. I especially send them to the Turkish-speaking psychologist. So that way people can explain better in their own language sometimes. So if you need more sessions, there are up to 12, which can be, so which is one session a month, which is more than enough if you are sitting on a lower scale of a mental health issues. So do not hesitate to access those services. Okay, because it is available for us. We pay taxes to get those services, so access those services. Okay, if you are working, your work might have the program called employment assistance program that can give you a free session as well. So there are a lot of other places where you can get a lot of free services. There are other services like mental health nurses, social worker. If you go to Centrelink, you can access social worker. There are counseling services through like a Anglican, St. Vincent. They do free counseling services as well. But the most important for all of us, our informal support network, which is our friends, our family. If you have a faith, if you go to temple, if you go to any spiritual or cultural connection you have. Okay, because people, you will talk about it, people will get open, oh, I might have experienced the same. Okay, Come here in Sakhi Saheli and speak to your mates here. Okay. You got Isha. She's such a good resource. Utilize her. And I don't think so she'll ever say no.
No, not at all. And this is why we created this space, you know, where we can all
Yeah.
come together and I guess talk. And I know that this is recorded and some might not feel comfortable, but it's for women who are not being able to attend. So we can always, let's have a chat once the recording's done about what some sort of experiences we've all had. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for that.
The other thing is, as a woman, it's just accept how you feel. Okay. You don't have to wear a mask over your feeling or your emotion. Okay, I'm going to spend a whole day by myself in my room. Husband, you take care of a kid. I don't care. You do take over or whatever. I just need my time off. It's okay to do that. I'm going out with my friends today. You do whatever you want to do. I don't care. My house is a mess. I have 100 dishes in my sink. Do not stress about those things because those things can wait. Your health cannot wait. Okay, and your well-being is must. Have some routine. Okay, have some routine. I was maybe sitting at another end 2-3 years back, but then I have a little bit of a routine. Okay, Wednesday night, my husband put my son on a bed. It's my time, my day off. Okay, I can watch TV. I can jump on a treadmill, have some exercise, do some meditation. It's just my day. So have some routine. It's very important. Okay, if you communicate, communication is a key again. If you communicate with your kids, if you communicate with your partner, they will understand slowly that this person also needs a time for themselves. Okay, utilize your support network. Phone a friend, phone a mommy daddy overseas. Everyone, utilize all the support networks which you have. Okay, so acceptance is a very big thing, and whatever work for you. There is no guide a human being come with. So what works for me might not work for Isha. Okay, so whatever works for you. So there are lots and lots of material available on a mental health. So you are a unique person, even in any treatment. Maybe half a Panadol will work on me. Maybe Lisha need 2 Panadols. Same applies to mental health. Okay, same applies to mental health. So everyone care is very unique. Who you want to involve in your care, that is your choice. Again, do not compare your care needs with someone else. Oh, my friend took 3 sessions and she feels fine. I need to take 10. Maybe I'm very worse. No, everyone has their own unique needs. You are a unique individual. Believe in that. And hopeful is very important thing in mental health. Always be hopeful. Always see that little light bulb moment. Always see the light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe you are in a little bit of dark space at the moment, but there is always something good is coming. Always find that one little motivation in your life. Okay. Ask for help. Okay. Even in that video, that's what they talk about. Ask for help. You are not the only one going through it. Okay, there is 1 out of 6 women. So how many we are in this at the moment? Maybe 2 or 3 might be going through it as well. So who knows? If you ever feel that you need to speak to someone, I highly recommend these services. Lifeline. There are moments in my personal life where I have to call Lifeline as well. You don't need to even disclose what's your name. They are there to just talk to you and how you feel. They will do a little risk assessment, but that's their job. But then they will hear you. Once you let it out, that emotion, once you let it out, that urge of talk to someone, you normally calm down. Your bad thoughts goes away. And if it's an ongoing process, then they might able to recommend you. Okay, so if it's not only for you as a woman, if your partner, if your husband struggling, there are men's line as well. There are a lot of services available. Not going to take too much time, and I'm going to wind up. Lovely to talk to you. Anytime, any help needed, even if you're not sure, ask Isha to pass my contact details. Yeah, I'm always available.
Great.
Okay, I'm just going to stop sharing.
Yeah, we'll have a discussion, and what I might do is I'll pause the recording, so if anyone has any questions or things they'd like to say. But before I stop the recording, I do want to let everyone know that the last Wednesday of October, which is the 28th, we're having a GP come in and talk about how the mental health care plan works. What does it look like when you go to the GP? What do you talk about? What does it involve? So I'm really glad you talked about that, because I think you have Medicare and you don't even know what you're eligible for. There's so many services, and it's absolutely amazing that it's available to us. So keep an eye out on our Facebook page for that. And also in November, we're having a service called Panda come in, and they are a prenatal pregnancy related service that provides mental health support to women and families having any sort of mental health issues related to their pregnancy, like what's it called, postnatal depression,
Postnatal.
or struggling to conceive, or during pregnancy, any of that. So I will send our Facebook link. We have a closed Facebook group on Facebook, which is purely for holding hands, where you can ask questions, give recommendations and suggestions. And I also want to point out that we also have a website, and we're going to be making in the future lots of blogs about mental health, what supports and services there. And currently we have an amazing blog up there about self-care. If anyone's interested in reading it, one of our students has written that up, and it's done really beautifully. So I'll put all the links in the chat and everyone can have a look at, but I'll just stop the recording. And if anyone has any questions or would like to share any experiences, feel free to do so, okay? All right, I'm just gonna... Thank you all for joining our 13th session for Holding Hands. As you all know, October is Mental Health Month, and we had the wonderful Prathiti Shah on. She's a mental health educator, has been working in the field for quite a long time, I think over 10 years, in humanitarian community development and mental health. It was great to have you. Thank you so much. And I want to let everyone know who is who's going to be watching the video, that this month we're going to have holding hands sessions related to mental health. So end of this month, we're going to be having a GP on who's going to be talking about the mental health pathways through Medicare, what is available, how to access it, having a self-care activity session. On the 24th of October, we're going to be having a Paint for a Cause event. We're going to be supporting Cancer Council and raising awareness for breast cancer. And the event will consist of having a paint night, drawing, whatever you feel like, having a drink if you want. It can be whatever beverage you prefer. If you want to have a meal with it as well. It's just going to be a nice Saturday night to just be creative and raise awareness and fundraise for a very important cause for women. So if you're interested, please check out our Facebook for the details. It's going to be going live soon by the end of this week. Keep following us on Facebook. Check out our website for mental health resources, anything else. And we have a lot of blogs on there, information sheets. So keep an eye out on that. And we hope to see you next week too. Thank you.